But we are now loading into game 1 here of this best of 9 all kill. It is going to be between ToR and FaDe. So we're just waiting for people to load, and here we go. We have now loaded in, spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, representing FaDe. We do have Resign, I believe. He's going to be spawning as our green Terran player, and up here in the top left-hand corner, representing ToR, our Gold League player, it is Xanderax. He's going to be spawning as the orange Protoss. So this map, I've actually never seen it before. There was some things going around in the community for BSGP and also this tournament as well, saying that they want to get new maps in, they want to get some new things going. And yeah, it looks like that we have got the stud, so we are just going to have a quick look around here at the map. This is the natural expansion here. You can see that there is destructible rocks down there as well, so that will be broken down a bit later on. Up here you do have, I believe this would be your third. As you can see, there are 2 entrances. There is a big ramp here, and also a big ramp leading up into it. This could be quite interesting to see how they would choose to defend it later. I believe that there's probably just going to be a block going on here, and they're just going to position their army somewhere abouts here, so they can protect this main entrance and also protect the natural expansion. Down here, splitting up the map halfway, there is a bridge, so this could be quite interesting and may favour Protoss a bit more, because if he does catch the Terran on that bridge, he will be able to get some amazing force fields and cut that army in half quite nicely. We see here FaDe going up here, doing his scout now once that barracks has gone down. We see him also getting a nice block off there, nice and early, getting that second supply depot down very quickly. However, the probe for Xanderax is already inside the base. So I'm wondering why FaDe Raisin decided to put down this supply depot so early when there was already a probe in his base. We'll be seeing if he does have something he wants to hide a bit later on, killing that probe off, ensuring that it is going to die once the Marine does come out onto the field. Having a quick look here at these Xel'Naga towers, they are nicely lit up there with some great design. They will give full vision over the side, over the middle of the map, and also give a little bit of vision up here around the edge as well, making it very difficult to sneak your whole army past. However, you will be able to get a nice little attack on the third if you do go over this bridge. However, I believe that Xel'Naga tower should be able to just see the edge there of that bridge, so you may be able to sneak your army past and get around to the third, but we'll see how that does go as we wait for these players. Oh, what is this by Xanderax? What is he actually going to put down here? Is he going to put down another 3 gateways and go for a 4 gate? Let's see what Xanderax is going to do here. Well, up here it looks like that FaDe, that Raisin's actually going to go for an expand. If there is a 4 gate coming, this could be a slight problem. There is a second gas being taken by Xanderax now, so leading towards a bit more of possibly a Twilight. There it is, Twilight Count. So it looks like we are going to be seeing some Dark Templar coming out of Xanderax, hiding them actually really nicely there off to the side, because that's really not going to get scouted until maybe a drop decides to come in and try and go for that main, where Resin actually decides to go around the edge of the map and come up there inside Xanderax's main. That's when he might be able to scout it. But that's not going to happen until around the 11 to 13 minute mark. And until then, he should be pretty well safe with that down there. Zealot for Xanderax going to be heading out across the map there, possibly just going to clean out these Xel'Naga towers and claim a little bit of map dominance. It's very risky actually going out there with a Zealot, as they are quite slow and can be taken out by Marines. Very risky actually going out there with a Zealot, as they are quite slow and can be taken out by Marines. Whoa. Very risky actually going out there with a... That was very odd. For some reason my stream decided to play when I didn't even have it up. But okay. Anyways, it looks like there it goes. There goes the Dark Templar Shrine now. Another pylon going down there to make sure that it can't just be down powered. However, that doesn't really affect it. I'm not sure what the second pylon for their airs, but we'll see what he does decide to do, because there's no Robo actually down yet on the field. He is still running 2 gates. I believe he can go 3-gate Dark Templar off the 1 base. He's putting the pylon at the front here to possibly go for an expand behind this. Inside Resin's base, if we have a look, he does have the engineering bay. We should be seeing a missile turret go down there at the front, but for now it looks like Dark Templar could cause a bit of damage if he's able to sneak past and get into the main without Resin actually raising that supply depot. He should be able to deal quite a large amount of damage. See here, another rack's going down there, one with the reactor, already one with the tech lab there. Starting Stim already has that concussive shell upgrade as well. No combat shields out just yet for those Marines. While we see the Nexus going down for Xanderax now. So Resin's actually doing a little bit of poking here with this Marine. We see a forward pylon down here for Xanderax. So there is going to be the warp-in point for those Dark Templar. The DT Shrine is just about to complete, and we should be seeing those DTs coming in very shortly. There it goes. So where are those Dark Templar? They will be coming in. There we go. 2 DTs going to be coming in now. He needs to make sure he splits these up. It's very important that he does. Makes that Terran use as many scans as he can, but he actually just scanned somewhere, scanned the front there and saw that well, there was nothing, and here he goes, he's moving out, but is he going to get inside the main? He does manage to get inside the main with those Dark Templar. Now he just needs to make sure he can split them up, but there's not really too much that Resin can do. He's forced to counter-attack here and pull all of the SCVs, but again, as soon as that command center does fall down, it is going to be Xanderax's game, because that is the only saving point there for him. And here we go, those DTs dealing so much damage onto that SCV line. Not even moving, he needs to get those Dark Templar out of there. He manages to get one away, so that is going to be a nuisance for Resin, as one missile turret does start to go down. Now needs to be careful of that scan, and a nice hold position there by Resin. He is going to start to lose some units, but that Dark Templar actually got trapped there for a bit inside Resin's base. The expansion, inside Xanderax's base, the expansion is already down there. SCV on that missile turret does now fall. Good hold position play there by Resin, but there's just not too much he can do. The missile turret is now up, and that Dark Templar is going to fall. Having a quick look at the damage there, 1,250 resources worth lost by the Terran, only 550 lost by our Protoss player. So it looks like that Xanderax came out very, very nicely with those DTs, and it is going to allow him to transition into some Archon style of play with the Zealots and the Archons. But we'll see what's Resin going to do here. It looks like he's letting out a bit of a sigh there, as another Dark Templar is actually going to be heading in. He needs to keep this one down at the natural expansion. There's no real point going back up there. He knows there's a missile turret. He may be able to bait a scan, but he looks like he is going to lose it. So one free Dark Templar there going down for Xanderax. And Resin slowly working his way back in with that. If we have a look at how many workers were lost, 19 workers were killed there for Xanderax, so a lot of damage done there onto FaDe Resin. We see that there are only 9 harvesters for Resin and 38 for Xanderax, so Xanderax has a massive lead at the moment. And Resin's actually going to be having a lot of trouble getting back into this game. Double Forge going down now for Xanderax, really going to start pumping out those upgrades. Looks like, what have we got going on? More Zealots are going to be warping in there for Xanderax. More Archons on the field. Does he have that charge upgrade? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have that charge out just yet. And now here's a hard part for Resin. He can't really be aggressive until he has some scans saved up, as he's just not really going to be able to do anything. The Zealot will get picked off here by the concussive shell and get taken out. However, that's some very important information that Xanderax just saw there. He saw that Resin was moving out across the map. And now he's just got to repair a third Archon coming in for him now as well. As more units for Resin are rallied across the map there. Oh, excuse me, it looks like that the Dark Templar is going to manage to get in, but there is missile turrets set up, and he is going to be seen. Now here's where Xanderax is really going to have to deal some damage. It's going to force a scan, and it looks like that there is enough energy there for that one scan. He needs to make sure he doesn't call down a mule, though. That is so important. Nice kiting here by Resin. He does use a stim there. He needs to be careful with these stims. Concussive shell not going to be affecting those Archons, and they are going to be able to deal some massive damage onto those Marauders. Marauders not too good against Archons, as Archons actually don't get affected by the concussive shell, and Resin's going to lose that force quite convincingly as well. Xanderax doing a nice little hold there. No scan was actually used during that time. It may have really cut back on the DT damage. We'll see as we do go. There we go, a mule going down for him. +1 armor has now started. Does he have that +1 weapons? Yes, he does. So he has +1 weapons, while our Protoss player is now starting his +1 weapons for his Archons as he continues out across the map. Xandrax does have this forward pylon here, so this is going to be a very, very strong warp-in point for him as he now begins his attack here onto the Terran player. And there's really not too much that Resin has. He needs to make sure he can repair this bunker, but it's going to be very difficult against this Archon. These Archons do have the splash damage, are going to be able to deal massive damage onto those workers. We see that there are only 15 workers out on the field for Resin, unfortunately, and 49 for our Protoss player, who's now preparing to come in for an attack here, focusing down that bunker, but pulling back nicely, not wanting to lose too many units there, doing a little bit of poke damage on that bunker. Has to be careful, very carefully. He actually doesn't have any sentries. I would like to see 2 sentries come out onto that field, so that he can get a force field to block these units off and even trap them so that the Zealots and the Archons can deal maximum damage onto him without being at risk of being kited. But we'll see how we do go, as it looks like Xandrax is now preparing to attack again, expanding behind his attack, exactly what he needs to be doing. Very, very strong play coming out here by Xandrax as he is now progressing into the Terran base. Here he goes. These Archons going to be soaking up so much damage. A lot of units out here for Resin, but is it going to be enough to really hold off this massive Archon force? Archons with massive shield count. 350 shield on those Archons. Unfortunately, no upgrades on them just yet. +1 shields is almost completed, and that +1 weapons as well. Xandrax should definitely be waiting for this +1 weapons to finish up, as it gives a massive boost to those Archons. More DTs actually being warped in up here at the main, at the third, sorry, actually being defensive Archons in case there is a drop. He's actually pulling back now as a Raven is coming out onto the field. This Raven is extremely effective against those Dark Templar, being able to see them, and also with point defense drone. However, there aren't too many Stalkers on the field. There is currently one out there in Xandrax's army, so the point defense drone not going to be able to do all too much. We'll see how Resin decides to use it. Could use it for a little bit of poking, throwing down those auto turrets at the back of the natural and mineral lines. They deal a lot of damage really quickly, and actually have quite a fair bit of health as well. So there are so many Archons on the field for Xandrax. 8 Archons currently out for him in the harvester count. 22 harvesters for our Terran player, 63 for Xandrax. Xandrax's lead actually getting so much further ahead, as the natural expansion is only just going down now for Resin, as he did take a lot of damage. He does see that pylon and is going to be cleaning it out. So now Xandrax losing his most further forward pylon. He does still have this one here at the Zelnaga Tower, but if it is the army of Resin does go past it, he's going to be taken out quite quickly, as a Warp Prism is going to be coming in. This could be quite problematic for Resin here. If DT drops do happen inside this mineral line, there's going to be very little Resin can do, as his army is out here at the natural expansion. He's going to have to stim a few of them to come back, and with only 1 medevac, it's going to run out of energy quite quickly. Oh, actually a big Zealot drop looks like it's going to happen here on this. This could be quite effective, as he doesn't need to worry about that detection, and also can just deal so much damage so quickly. Zealots with +1 absolutely destroy workers. There's not too much here for Resin at the moment compared to our Protoss army, as there's just so many Archons, so many Zealots. But with if Resin's actually able to do some good micro, he may be able to do a fair bit of damage and come off with a nice trade. No force fields on the field yet for Xandrax. They would be so useful at this time, as a drop looks like it's going to come past here, and he's going to see the Dark Shrine. Will he pull back? This is exactly what he needs to be doing now. Pulling back, taking out that Dark Shrine. The drop does get spotted by that, and here comes the army now. No micro here by Resin, no. Unfortunately going to lose so many units. Needs to stim that army and pull them back. Drop still not happening anything here, but a drop coming in here by Xandrax, as the army of FaDe Resin is getting cleaned up here. And this drop is also going to be taken out. However, there are some Zealots here to clean this up. The Zealot's been dropped here in the main. SCV's dying quite quickly. That Warp Prism staying alive. GG there by Resin. And Xandrax is going to take away the first game for ToR. So here we are, loading in now, spawning up here in the top right-hand corner. We do have our yellow Protoss player from FaDe, representing FaDe. It is Excel. And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, currently up 1, we do have our green Protoss player from ToR. It is Xandrax. We saw Xandrax play impressive in the last game. He played so well with some very strong DT play, with actually hiding behind his main, so that was a very nice stun by there. Unfortunately, Resin didn't quite handle it. Wasn't actually quite prepared. I wouldn't say didn't handle it well, just wasn't actually prepared for Dark Templar, as it's very hard to really scout that, especially when it's hidden off to the side. But either way, Xanderax did manage to come out with that game. Xanderax now going up for a nice little scout. Now, something about the PvP matchup with this, if a player is going to go for early aggression in PvP, you really need to make sure your timings are down. You need to make sure you have everything down to the second. Because with PvP, there is no defender's advantage. You have that forward pylon, so you attack from that forward pylon. There's very, very little defender's advantage. So making sure you get everything down at the right time. Actually, what is this? Oh, Xanderax representing ToR here with proxy gates. This is what we like to see. We should be seeing another one go down very shortly. Going for 2-gate pressure here with this, and actually going to be able to deal a lot of damage as Excel's actually getting a gas, so he could be in a lot of trouble if he's not careful. He really needs to react correctly. Once he scouts here, he's going to come in, he's going to see the pylon down, but is he going to recognize that, hey, there's no gateways down? What should he do from here? I believe that the correct thing that he should do is put down a forge. However, he is putting down the cybernetics core. Xanderax gateways are almost complete, and I am being messaged on there, so I'm going to close that. Apologies for that, guys, but here we go. Those gateways for Xanderax are going to complete now, and XL doesn't have anything out to defend these zealots that are going to be chrono boosted out by Xanderax, coming out very, very quickly. Xanderax is going to be chasing that probe away there, and he's going to be able to deal so much damage. But here goes XL now, throwing down the forge. A little bit late. Is it going to be out in time? No, he's going to scout the gateways, and he now knows that this aggression is coming. He knows it's here, and now he has to prepare. It is slightly late, though. I don't know if it will be out in time. His warp gate research has now begun. He should be able to deal a lot of damage. If he gets this probe in there as well to help take out the zealot, he should be able to take it out quite easily. He just needs to make sure he micros, doesn't want to lose that probe. That could be quite important. Does manage to keep it alive. The forge is now complete. So will he actually be able to hold this? We see that Xanderax is actually supply blocked, not throwing down another pylon just yet. He is coming in now with 2 zealots, and the cannons have gone down. This means it's almost game over for Xanderax. Once this is done, he's going to have to start defending right here. Otherwise, he's going to lose all of his gateways. But he can't really attack here. That probe, that zealot there, going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Actually losing a lot of probes here. So he needs to be extremely careful with that, as the cannons have now completed and the zealots are going to start to die off. But will he actually be able to, can he get the cybernetics core? If he can get the cybernetics core, that is big, because that has that warp gate research. And this could give him the way back into the game. And it looks like that XL is actually going to lose his zealots if he's not careful. And he does. Xanderax needs to be careful with those zealots, though, as more are going to be coming in for him very shortly, as he needs to make sure he can keep his alive. And there we go, another zealot falls for XL, while Xanderax still has all of his alive, and they are going to take out this cybernetics core, so warp gate research is lost. And there it goes, warp gate research there lost for XL. And Xanderax actually coming out in quite a nice position. He needs to make sure he pulls those zealots back, though, and doesn't lose too many of them. We see XL actually going for a second gas now, which is, I guess, quite odd coming out, as he has no cybernetics core. He can't really produce anything that requires gas. More zealots going to be coming in for him now. He has 5 in total, more in production from those gateways. We'll see what he does. Actually going for an expansion. Great play here by Xanderax. However, we do have double gas coming on the way for XL. So is he going to get a cybernetics core down and possibly just go straight for some sort of Dark Templar? Because the way it is with Protoss when behind Dark Shrine, everyone knows it. Dark Shrine, very, very effective. But will Xanderax be prepared if that is the case? Fast +1 here coming out by XL. I really like this play here by him. He has the gas to use. He may well use it on those +1s. He's going to have enough here for warp gate research. If he actually decides to start it, he really should be getting onto that straight away. But instead, just going to be cannoning up around his base. If we have a look in the probe count, we have XL at 26 and 21 for Xanderax. However, Xanderax is going to have this natural expansion down, so he is going to be able to catch up quite quickly. And here we go, more Stalkers on the way, actually managing to cancel one off there. It looks like that we're just going to be seeing straight Stalkers coming out of XL, and this could be quite effective, as Xanderax does only have Zealots. The more Stalkers you have, well, you can infinitely kite Zealots anyway with Stalkers. What you need to be careful of is not taking too much damage while they're actually... Oh, is he going to lose? Oh, no, he does get the cancel off. Great work there by XL. If he had lost that expansion, that's a big hit to his economy there. But here comes the Stalkers now, going to be chasing these Zealots, maybe able to kill off another one here. But what this is going to mean, it's going to mean that Xandrax is going to give up these 2 gateways, and he has no other gateways on the field at the moment. Actually going to be going up around. Oh, actually managing to ditch the Stalkers. Great work there by Xandrax, but they are going to be coming straight into his base. He has no Stalkers in production for him up here. So this could be quite bad for him if he's not careful. He's going to start to lose a lot of probes. Will need to make sure he can defend it. Warp gate research not on the way, not close to completed yet for him, so could be in a bit of trouble. As probes are now being pulled to chase these Stalkers. However, can Xandrax get a nice little catch here with those probes, and also with the army following up behind? There is 1 Stalker in there. Oh, there are 3 Stalkers for XL, so he should be able to take this. Able to now 2 hit those probes with the Stalkers. And the robotics bay on the way. There is +1 on these Stalkers. He does have that high ground advantage. Going to get first shot here on this Stalker. So great work here by XL. Is he going to be able to bring this back for a win here for FaDe? As he is taking a bit of damage now on those Stalkers, focusing down probes. Great work there by him, focusing down what he needs to try and earn his way back into this. He has that expansion now completed there at the natural expansion. Hasn't quite taken this out yet, which he really needs to do, as that is the aggression point there for Xandrax. Probes need to be pulled here, and they could trap all those Stalkers, but doesn't quite get them, unfortunately, and he is going to lose more and more Stalkers, more and more probes, and that Stalker will now be taken out before another probe can fall. So now Xandrax in another aggressive position here, can start to move up. His warp gate is now complete, while Robo is now on the way, and also Immortals are in production as well, +1 armor on the way for XL. The advantage of getting those 2 gases out very, very quickly is able to start those upgrades, and also able to get that very, very fast Immortal production. But here come the Stalkers now, going to be attacking the front. A lot on the way. Actually, cancel goes down. Here comes Stalkers now for XL, going to be waiting for that Immortal. Needs to wait for that. It is very important that he waits for that. He has the Stalker advantage. Could have possibly engaged there, but we'll see what he does decide to do as the Zealots are now coming up. Now for Xandrax, this is where he needs to have a sentry out on the field. Having a sentry out, force fields that ramp behind the army, and it's game over for XL. There's very, very little he can do to recover from that. The Zealots are just going to tear into everything, but the kiting should actually begin here, and XL should be able to do a fair amount of damage as sentries are now coming in. So XL may start playing very, very defensive with these. It's going to be very hard for him to play aggressive with them, as there's just not many force field points that he can do. More Zealots coming in there for Xandrax. Xandrax really getting that economy online now, income. 41 workers actually on the field for XL, 36 for Xandrax. Needs to make sure he's keeping up with that constant pro production, which we see XL doing quite nicely. More Zealots coming out onto the field. Force fields go down. Great force fields there by XL. Fantastic play. Actually going to get these Zealots quite nicely, and they are going to come up here. He does lose a sentry though, so it is a bit of a loss. 1 cannon is also coming up. Really possibly could have sniped that with all those Stalkers. Xandrax needs to be careful here not to overextend. If he overextends, he could be in a bit of trouble. Great force fields there, trapping an Immortal off, and that Immortal will die so quickly with the Zealots reinforcing as well. Great play there. Both players really utilizing those force fields. And the Immortal does get taken out. Another great force field there by Xandrax. Actually going to get that next Immortal as well. Those Immortals are big losses there for XL, but he is now in the aggressive position with the Stalker count. Probes coming up as well to defend. Zealots are on the way for Xandrax. Has a nice little warp-in point here. But what will he do? Will he be able to do it? No! A sentry gets sniped there. Great work there by XL. Units lost tab. It is pretty even here. Oh, actually, no. Xandrax is at a bit of a loss, as he did lose so many sentries. And now XL is going to be able to take out the gateways of Xandrax, while Xandrax during this time getting the Colossus tech down. We do have the Robo Bay on the way, so he's going to be able to start producing out those Colossus quite quickly. We'll see how this does go for him. It looks like in the unit counting station there are 46 workers there for XL, while 43 for Xandrax. Xandrax actually really coming back in that probe count, and Immortal is on the way for him now during this time. And XL has managed to actually clean out the gateways there of Xandrax. So Xandrax actually losing quite a lot of gateways from that. 2 gateways lost for him. Is now throwing down 3 more inside his main, so he is going to have a total of 5 plus 1 Robo Bay. He really needs to start some Zealot production coming out. and also some sentries. He does have the sentries here. He could do quite a bit of damage if he can get these zealots at the front. It's so important that they're at the front to really deal the massive DPS and tank all the damage as well. But it looks like he's going to lose his vantage point here as the units of XL are coming up, and it looks like XL may be able to take this with this push. Does he see the sentries? He needs to snipe those sentries. Excellent force fields there. Perfect force fields by Xanderax there. Amazing. Look at them. No unit can fit through there, so great work there. However, Xanderax forces are getting a bit split up, and the Immortals is now coming in here. The Colossus is going to be finishing up for Xanderax. And here it goes. It looks like XL is going to be able to clean it out from here, unless we can see some amazing Colossus micro, but it's going to be very hard, as the Colossus here is going to get focused down. But the units are running into those Zealot lines, and the Zealots are able to deal so much damage. The Colossus actually not doing anything, as it's sent away to the back. That Immortal is still alive. Another Colossus on the way here for Xanderax. Now, what's FaDe going to be doing here? There is so much that he can do. Actually throwing down a second Robo, and the Robo Bay is on the way for him. He should be warping in more Stalkers here. There they are. A lot of Stalkers coming in now. While there's not much out here on the field for Xanderax, he does have that one Colossus. Another Colossus about to come out. More Zealots being warped in here. They are going to be able to deal a lot of damage, but this Colossus needs to deal the big damage. It needs to get that big splash hit. Getting up there on that high ground. Fantastic play. Doesn't have that range yet, though. So those Stalkers are going to be able to hit it. And it looks like that he could be in some trouble, and the Colossus does fall. And actually, the second Colossus didn't come out for Xanderax, so that means it will be GG here, and XL will take away this game. And there's the GG! And it looks like that XL taking it away there for FaDe. Fantastic play by him.